Yeah, piano solo into the piano. Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome in, friends and enemies. This is the Trent Dilfer episode. That's correct. Episode 8 of the Barking Brown shows, which means that it will be incredibly mediocre. We will get cut, and then I will hold a grudge for the rest of my life. I don't know. That's apparently how the Trent Dilfer show will go. Nick, I am your host. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm stumbling out the gates. I am your host, Jacob. I'm over at Roachism13. If you are watching, it is on the screen somewhere over there. If you are not, it will be in the description. As always, to your right, my left, is the man that doesn't miss. It's Nick Carnes at Carnesies817. Nick, how are we doing tonight?
Dude, I'm really excited about this show tonight, Jacob. I am. This is, you know what? I like we throw you a little curveball every once in a while, and like a giant idiot. I had promised that I was going to tease it today before I went to sleep. Didn't do that because I have no idea what's going on. But nonetheless, here we are, and it's going to be a fun one today.
We have a concept that I think I came up with, and I probably stole it from somebody. I have no idea. But I was sitting there the other day and I thought, listen, this is a show for fans by fans. That is our mantra. That is what we're trying to talk about. That is what's going on here. Let me get over into the chat window just in case anybody's popping in there. No, because we're not important enough. Anyway, I had this idea the other day. I said, hey, we're just fans. We're not, I'm not anything special. You're smart, but I'm not. But and so we had this idea. We came up with I can only get 4 people in here at a time is where Restream will cut me off. So we invited 4 fans of the show, 4 of our biggest supporters, 4 people that are dumb enough to put up with our bullshit on a week-to-week, day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute basis. And, that was me. And I just called all 4 of our guests dumb at one time, and I can see them staring at Ed's giving me the thumbs up, though. Ed's all about it. He doesn't give a shit. he's over there hanging out. And I'm just teasing you guys. I'm just teasing you guys. But so we got 4 fans of the show. They're going to come on one at a time because I think 6 people on the camera at once would be just absolute mayhem. So they're going to come on. They're going to talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about, Browns related, and I'll ask them a stupid question, and Nick will actually ask him a relevant question that drives the podcast. So we'll see. So listen, we get a comment over here. I just didn't make the cut. Listen, for sure, this is not the only opportunity to do this. We really, really want to do this. I don't know what, every 4 or 5 episodes, probably, I would think.
I was thinking, because we've got a lot of people that, we talk to through this, mm-hmm. and that's probably been the greatest part. Like last episode, for those of you who don't know, was our most active chat during our show. And so we want to build that. We want to continue to build relationships with people that spend time with us. So I definitely would like to do more of these.
We're gonna come out here. Listen, John's mad at me right now. He thinks that the Roaches got to stand together. He said same last name, and I didn't get an invite. Listen, wow. I know I'm a shit person. I apologize. We will get you. I promise. I want to get as many people on this show as we can. Totem weighing in again. Let's do it. I'd love to tell the story of how I became a Browns fan from the 49ers. You know what? I would love to hear that story. Yeah, we will have you on sometime. So I'm going to get to our guests real quickly. I want to do a quick breakdown and talk about James Hudson. I got things going off over here. Okay, I see what's going on. I want to talk real quick about our 4th round pick, James Hudson, and then we will get into the fun. I will tell you this about James Hudson. For the guy that played the least amount of games of the Browns' day 3 picks, played in 13 games. Stuff about James Hudson in my scouting report. I got a lot to say, and if our guests end up wanting to weigh in on this, we can do that as well. All right. So you're going to hear this a lot, but he is very raw. Like he played in 13 games. He started his collegiate career at Michigan as a defensive tackle. He ends up becoming the left tackle for Cincinnati, only really playing in this one season because he sat out the year after he transferred from Michigan. His physical tools are there. He's not played a ton of left tackle, guys. Like, so, it's going to take some time to go. Listen, my number one edge player in the draft this year was Azeez Ojulari. Anybody who follows me knows I was very high on Azeez Ojulari. Go back and watch the Sugar Bowl. Or the Peach Bowl. It's the Peach Bowl when Cincinnati played Georgia, and James Hudson handled Azeez start to finish. He handled Azeez. He ends up getting ejected, and as soon as Hudson is ejected, Ojulari had 3 sacks. The guy, it shows you how good Ojulari is and just how good James Hudson was playing in that game. He's clearly is a developmental prospect. Here's something I wrote down that I think will get you guys excited. I see some Wyatt Teller style mauler in him. Wyatt Teller is a mauler. I love Wyatt Teller. He's going to get physical. He's going to put you on the ground. James Hudson's going to get physical and put you on the ground. His hands are his best asset. He had the biggest hands in the draft, and just say it. Just say it.
There it is.
He had the biggest hands in the draft. If he can get his hands inside and on you, he's going to control you. Plain and simple. That's what's going to happen. When you see the smaller edges from the AAC, which is where he played, so he didn't play up to high level of talent in the AAC at Cincinnati. Those smaller athletic type edges, they just didn't stand a chance against James Hudson. He didn't let up a sack in 13 starts. I mean, it is what it is. He would really benefit from a redshirt year this year, so to speak, and go against Garrett and Clowney and work with Bill Callahan and work against Tack McKinley. I felt like it was kind of a reach when the pick was originally made because I didn't know who he was. And anybody who doesn't study the draft for a living that tells you they knew who James Hudson was, it is probably lying to you. Like, let's be honest about that. Going into it, he put on weight for his pro day and he didn't test well. He put on about 10 to 15 pounds when he went into his pro day, and he did not test very well. But the guy's physical. He's a mauler. He doesn't get moved all that well. He needs to work on his footwork and his technique, but he's got the best guy in the business to work on that with.
That's probably the best part of all, right? Is that when you take someone who's a developmental player, you have Bill Callahan, there's no one better at developing them. I did see you covered a lot of it, so he doesn't give up a sack, which is great. I think if I'm not mistaken, he gave up 6 pressures total, which,
yes.
Even so is great. I respect Matt Miller a lot. I follow him and his work a bunch. And when the Browns drafted him, he said that James Hudson was his number 55 overall prospect, which I mean, for whatever that's worth, I'm just, little tidbits that maybe, encourage, make you think that there's potential here. And it's interesting that once again, we find another player, and like you said, Jacob, he switches from defensive tackle to offensive tackle when he transfers to Cincinnati, that has a limited sample size. You know what? And I'm learning things as we go through this class that weren't readily apparent. And it seems like, especially with the later picks, because we're working our way up, like limited experience seems to be quite a theme along here. So so that's probably the thing I'm most interested about this class is if
especially in day 3. Day 3 picks are all raw picks. Yeah.
So if these picks do pan out, which I think we're both optimistic that many of them can, you have something special there in Andrew Berry, who is obviously able to identify players with potential, and we're going to see if they can fulfill that. Because if they can, that's something that I would imagine is one of the rarer skills as far as GMs go, is being able to look at a player that doesn't have all the tape, doesn't have all the body of work, and still being able to say, this is a guy that can turn into a long-term contributor.
You know, I think I look at him a lot. Some people thought about him potentially kicking into guard. I think he's just fine as a tackle. I really see his role as taking over Chris Hubbard's I'm the backup to everyone except for the center next year's role. I think that's probably where he immediately fits in. I would love it if he doesn't play a snap this year solely because of his development. That is not a shot at him as a player. Sure. That's just a statement of where I think he needs to be / go. But I think he's phenomenal. I mean, a phenomenal day 3 prospect is what he is. Okay. I clicked off the chat again, so I have no idea. Listen, I was making words with our group chat earlier today about not wearing pants. So people want to know if I'm wearing pants. Well, I guess you just have to keep wondering.
I do just want to say real quick that you said, that he's a mauler, he's a former defensive tackle. And I think one of the biggest things that changed about the Browns offense from the Freddie Kitchens year to the Kevin Stefanski year is that we were night and day in terms of being physical with our opponents and really being able to push them off the ball and run the ball. And so it seems like James Hudson is another piece to that puzzle. And so I am excited from that. I know it's not quantifiable, but it's important.
Yeah. We got a couple comments over here. Totem weighs in that if Hudson plays, it means we cut Hubbard and one of our starters got hurt. Exactly. I could see a situation where somehow he comes much further along and they do cut Hubbard or they trade Hubbard to try to roll over that salary in the next year for a late pick. If somewhere in camp someone gets hurt at tackle and somebody wants Chris Hubbard, I'm not sure he'll get there, but I could see a scenario where that potentially happens. Extra Crispy Wing says he's been looking at workout tapes. They may not matter, but all these players, including the rookies, are working. Yes. If anybody didn't notice, go over to OBJ's Instagram. He just posted this, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes ago.
Right before we went live.
Yeah. The dude was running faster than I drive my car. I don't know. Like my knees hurt. My knees hurt right now. And John Roach weighs in, says that Hudson going up against Garrett and Clowney in practice may accelerate his development. That's exactly what I think. Yep, there's my dog. Yep, he's smelling my face. All right, what's up, buddy? What can I do for you?
Love it.
All right.
And so the last piece to me is that the Browns offensive line, the 5 starters only played together. I want to say I don't remember. It's like 8 or 10 games that they actually played together. Yeah. So I know
played a lot until he got hurt.
Yeah, and then you so it's a little makes me a little nervous that we both agree that we would like him to not play this year, but at least we have Bill Callahan there to hopefully help his development accelerate if we should need him.
Yeah. And like I said, it's one of those situations where if Hudson's ready, I don't care. Sure. It's just I'm not sure if he will be. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna do this. We said this is for the fans episode. We got 4 great fans. I don't really like to call them fans. I like to call them supporters. They're here with this ride. A lot of them have chime in during the show and during the week and help us great. Listen, I love to scream and talk into a microphone and do my high-pitched voice. Is one of my favorite hours of the week when I've been dealing with stupid house stuff. It really that's been stressing me out. This has helped, calm me down. So this was our opportunity as fans to get our voices heard. I want everybody else to have that opportunity. We have this small little platform we build, and I want to pull people on here. So I'm going to put them in order that they are showing up in my screen one right now. We're going to do it one at a time. We're going to do like 10 minutes or whatever. There's not an actual time limit, but we're just trying to do this. Yeah. So I have on their screen, I will put their ats in the description of the YouTube and the podcast format if you're listening or watching tomorrow. And if you're watching live right now, it'll be on the screen. And I will put all their ats and everything like that. But I'm going to introduce this man. And I don't think he needs an introduction because he is a machine. He goes week by week. He continues to conquer the feat that he conquered the week before. He once said that the man to my left, your right, was the sexiest man on Brown's Twitter. And he was right.
What an honor. Right. Well, I didn't see it coming. Loved it.
So we're going to bring in here, and I'm not going to let him come on the screen until I put his caption and his name on here. We're going to bring on the drinking machine, our friend Andy. What's up, dude?
Hi, Andy.
What's going on, guys?
This is exciting.
Drinking machine was the best I could come up with. Drinking legend, maybe?
That's pretty good.
All right, man. So,
Nick, I love the new haircut. I hear Andrew Barry loves the shaved look, so I think you're getting closer.
You know, in true style, it was time. I can't keep it so fancy the way you got to go. Oh wow, what Andy brought it with him today. Andy absolutely brought it with him.
I'm in Vegas right now, so I'm in the room. The internet connection in here is not the greatest, so I'll probably freeze for a couple minutes in the middle of this, but I'll do my best.
You know what, Andy? I've got beers in the fridge because we've got the Cavs lottery coming here soon. So if by some manner we get lucky, I'm going to join you in that, Chug.
Nice.
So we got a side note over here. Extra Wings wanting to know if we've ever been more hyped for a season. Andy, can you started off? Have you ever been more hyped for a season, realistic or not?
Absolutely not. No, this is the greatest. I was so hyped for last season, and it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. And now it's just like I can actually watch an elite team. That's what you're rooting for.
Yeah.
So, okay. Nick, you have the real questions. So if you want to ask him a real question.
You know, I have a spur of the moment question. You know, Andy, you're just I mean, that's 3 beers so far. We've been on here for. Are we training for the next video?
You know, you're always training for the next video. I went to OU as well as Jacob, and they taught you well there.
The Bobcats in here. I love it. I'm nearly a Golden Flash, which, you know, proud of that. I love Kent, but it's clearly not living up to the Bobcat way over here.
You know, we're pretty rude come up this way because we have a saying. It is can't read, can't write, can't state. So
can't remember what you did last night.
That's true. I can't remember anything I did last week. I do have an interesting thing. So this was brought up, and I ended up watching a video of Quincy Carrier on YouTube talking about this. I don't know if you guys watch his stuff. He's pretty good at what he does over there. Mike Tannenbaum compared Baker Mayfield to Mark Sanchez today. Discuss.
Is that a real thing?
It did. It happened. Yeah. He was talking about because, you know, we've heard this, right? They're comparing Baker to Goff and to Wentz because those are examples of guys in their third years with similar numbers. Baker's are actually better, except Wentz had a slightly higher total QBR. But Baker has more yards than both of them, and that was after their third season is when they received their big contracts, and then in those cases the teams have regretted those big contracts. However, you can go and look at his numbers were better than Marino's first 3 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could also do this with other quarterbacks in their first 3 years that they had similar numbers to Baker that they did pan out. They did get paid and they panned out. So he was saying that keep in mind, this is the guy that traded up for Mark Sanchez and got fired and has never been a GM again. But Tannenbaum was comparing extending Baker to extending Mark Sanchez. So, Andy, I need to know how much of Baker Mayfield compares to Mark Sanchez.
I don't think Baker's going to really compare to anyone. I think he does it his own way. I think his career is really going to be very unique. He's very comfortable in his own skin, and I think that really works well for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
I love the guy.
I think if you look
I don't
at
love Mark Sanchez.
I actually like Mark as like a commentator. Like he's done some TV stuff, and he's not bad. So the adjusted completion percentage by PFF for Baker Mayfield last year was 76.4.
Wow.
You're telling me that's average? Like that
doesn't seem very average. Did you see the Jake Trotter tweet today that about quarterbacks
yes, they did.
QBR over 80?
Yeah.
And in games where the Browns, where Baker was over 80, the Browns were 7-1, mm-hmm. and only he, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers had that many games above 80. Is that average?
No, more games. Only Rodgers and Mahomes had more games with total QBR above 80 than Baker Mayfield.
Thank you.
So
the one thing I did want to ask Andy is because Andy, you're a front office guy. I know you are. So I wanted to ask you. We've got like a year and a half worth of moves so far. What is your favorite Andrew Berry move of all of them?
Oh my God. So many good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to be the John Johnson III. It was exactly what the Browns needed. It was such a team-friendly deal. It's going to be so fun watching him. I put about 10 seconds of thought to that. I could probably come up with a million more.
I love it.
That's the best part, I think, easily, is that you can come up with so many different moves. So I have an important question, and I really need an answer to this. So how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? That's right.
Wow.
Everybody on my screen has froze.
I mean, I don't know that like a million chickens can kill an elephant. What a dumb question.
I think. Well, okay.
This is devolving so quickly, guys.
So say the chickens somehow find their way on top of the elephant. It wouldn't take that many chickens to kill an elephant, right?
I mean, maybe if it was like a baby elephant.
They're gonna have to do some cartoon style stacking,
A lot of chickens could probably kill a baby elephant, but I don't think they could kill a real one. I have a question for you guys, though.
Okay.
Okay, so let's fast forward 5 years from now. Mm-hmm. Which, between Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, who's more likely to fail and be cast out of Cleveland?
Wow.
Here's the thing, and wow, this seems like blasphemy in any way, shape, or form to say this sort of thing. But gun to my head, if I had to choose, if I had to choose, I would actually say Kevin Stefanski, because I think you have situations where head coaches take the blame for things that aren't always their fault. Like you could say, hey, Andrew Berry could say, hey, I got you all of these pieces and you weren't able to do anything with it because maybe Baker goes down. Maybe Nick Chubb, maybe he lets Nick Chubb walk and his replacement isn't very good and it throws the balance of the alignment out. You know what? I'm not sure
I
what,
respect that.
Yeah.
Because I think general managers have a longer shelf life than head coaches for whatever reason. So that makes sense to me.
I mean, look at Philly and Howie Roseman, who has went through multiple head coaches where they got fired. And I think Howie Roseman is phenomenal, but anytime they've been bad, it's never Howie Roseman.
I think
Nick Carnes.
That's very fair, and I can see where you're coming from there. But to me, we've already seen Kevin Stefanski be among the upper tier of coaches. And I'm not saying that Andrew Berry hasn't been as far as GMs go, but we saw how Freddie Kitchens was with basically the same Browns offense. And then we saw how Kevin Stefanski was with nearly the same group, but less prep time. So to me, Kevin Stefanski's already succeeded with some of the toughest odds against him. So yeah. I think I just think in 1 year of evaluation, Kevin Stefanski has been like just a little bit better than Andrew Berry. I think he lasts that longer.
Nice. Okay. And Stefanski did win Coach of the Year. Berry has not won Executive of the Year. So point Nick Carnes.
I don't know. Okay. It's just speculating, but best case scenario, they're both here.
All right, Andrew.
The right answer is the right answer is I will kill myself and both of them will still be here.
There we go. There's the correct answer. Totem weighs in, says coaches can take the fall for losses even if the main contributor is injury and players making mistakes. And that is not and then he points out the X factor here is Paul DePodesta because he can stretch both contracts. And I agree. I mean, and I think they're a three-headed monster in there, the three of them, and I think they're a package deal. All right, Andy, before we hop off here with you, I know you got a hot take in there for me. Give me a hot take.
Hot take. Put me on the spot. How about this? I came on here expecting that I was going to try and drink 8 beers during my segment. I'm now in my 8th. My hot take is that I am going to complete this. So let's see how that
There it is.
Let's go.
And then I'm going to go run into the bathroom and throw up.
Well,
I saw him dominating these beers this whole time, and I wasn't keeping track. And I was just like, and there it is. Wow, look at that. 8 beers. He was on screen for 12 minutes.
Well done, Andy.
Oh, I'm in pain.
Hey, you live the good Vegas life, Andy.
If anyone knows any bail bondsmen in Vegas, I'm going to need one.
All right, Andy.
Take care of yourself,
man.
Andy.
We will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Go Browns.
Woo. All right, that was our good friend Andy.
Andy is living the full Vegas life.
He is. If you were in our group chat, and Extra Crispy Wings, who's been weighing in over here, letting us know that AB is a beast, he was in the group chat, and he is aware that Andy has been living his best life.
Andy.
So
making up for lost time.
Next is a man that when we started this show, I mean, Nick's got a pretty decent sized following over on Twitter. I have some people that waste parts of their days reading what I have to say, but this is a man that came out of freaking nowhere, but was there for us from the second this show started, hyping us up. He hypes me up almost every damn day. He's the one. He's the only. Here comes Ed in Columbus. Ed, how we doing tonight, buddy?
What's up, guys? Let's go Cavs. What's going on?
Absolutely. Hi, Ed. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. We Twitter talk, we do all that, but it's actually good to hear your voice, and speak directly to you guys. And we all need to hang out sometime and get this Barking Browns thing going and get some live experiences.
I would love that.
Absolutely.
We are trying super hard to get up there, and we don't know the time frame of it quite yet, but we're trying to get up for training camp. So maybe up near training camp, or on my way up, or on my way back through training camp. I live in Athens, so I go obviously I got to go through Columbus to get up through there. So we'll figure something out. Absolutely. Hey, Extra Crispy Wings, he wants you to know that he fucking loves you. So.
And for those of you who can't see, those of you who are listening, Ed came fully decked out in, is that a Browns tie, Ed?
Absolutely, my man.
Wow.
Hey, this is the debut of the fans only show. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to bring it, because it's just like one thing. with Senator Tressel. Jim Tressel, loved him as Ohio State coach, but he used to wear this as like 1950s kind of look with the white shirt and the tie.
Okay.
I love it. Coach, one thing I like about Stefanski too, and he looks physically fit. And now I know Andy Reid is the way he is, and I'm not trying to go here and say anything bad about anybody's physical appearance or anything like that. But when you're a head coach and you're telling other men to run and do this and do, you should be in shape yourself or have some kind of physical attributes that should be aspired to. So I don't know. I appreciate about Stefanski, and I know Kevin Love may be a little hurt because he's not the sexiest Kevin in Cleveland anymore. Stefanski is. Hey, winning is sexy, and I have no problem saying that. Winning is sexy.
Hey.
True.
That's what Mike Pettin used to say. He used to say that the sex was better when you win, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember, this is off kilter, but do you remember when Chip Kelly was in Philly? So his first go around as a head coach, when he was in Philly, they said they had so many issues because he was like a very strict disciplinarian, kind of along the lines of Bill Belichick and Eric Mangini, and that he had these wild meal plans that these guys had to stick to, these wild meal plans and these wild workout routines, and everybody would like look at him. And like you said, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but like if you're telling me to run 6 miles and I can only eat 1,000 calories, and like you could fit 2 of me in your pants, I'm not listening to you. Like,
it falls on deaf ears a little bit. I mean, you're the leader of men. You're the guy that's going out there and especially like in the dog days of summer, and defense always wins games. I went to Grove City High School and we had a coach, Brian Cross, and he was a Cleveland Browns fan. And it's the Grove City Greyhounds, and a Greyhound is not exactly the most imposing kind of dog. It's it's a track dog, it's fast, but he put dogs on the helmet, and because defense always wins games, and he was very proud of his Northeast Ohio roots and everything. So and I'll say one thing, living in Columbus, I am a Buckeye, a graduate of Ohio State, but okay. I'm Ed in Columbus. But don't forget, I am Ed from Cleveland. My birth certificate says Cleveland, Ohio. I lived in North Olmsted. So my first Browns game, I'll never forget, December 17th, 1989. Bernie Kosar talks about this game because it was the coldest game he says he's ever played in. It had snowed 5 inches on Friday, 4 inches that Saturday night, wind chill minus 20. Now, and one thing about 89, the last time the Browns won the division title, the AFC Central, they had lost in 88 to the Houston Oilers on December 24th on Christmas Eve. My Christmas was ruined because of a guy with the last name of Seaman, Jerry Seaman. Okay, this guy ruined the Browns because he called a Warren Moon backward pass. It should have been a fumble. Clay Matthews picked it up, ran it in the end zone. He said it didn't go backwards, so we didn't get points there. Webster Slaughter caught a pass. 2 feet were in bounds. Nope, ruled out of bounds. We lost by 1 point. So Jerry Seaman, and then he became head of NFL officiating in the 90s. So, that's so Cleveland, not only do you get a zebra that goes against us, he becomes the head of all officiating.
He becomes the head of them.
Yeah, he gets rewarded for screwing us. So, yeah, anybody have Jerry Seaman ruin their Christmas Eve, I'll be glad. And one thing about being a Browns fan, I was telling my wife this too, as much drama as we've had since 99, whether it be Phil Dawson banging off the stash and, the part of the field goal post in Baltimore in 07, the bottle gate, you name all the crazy stuff that's happened to the Browns since 99. It used to be that way from like 89 to 95 before they left. So one thing about being a Browns, it's a storied franchise, but it's a franchise that's always been storied in the way that it's been screwed or crazy stuff has happened. Yeah. So the drama part of the Browns, we're not boring. We could be like Jacksonville or Tennessee and just be like, oh, we just lose games or whatever. No, even when we lose, we're drama. We're like the best male soap opera going. I mean, and that's what makes it so fun. And then you put the passion of the Cleveland fan on top of it, which, let's be real, one thing I like about being a Clevelander is, we're very passionate, but we're a little crazy in a good way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have a fan base be like us that cares, and we'll do, we'll wait at the airport, till 3 o'clock in the morning because, we beat Dallas in the 4th week of the season because it means so much to us and everything. I bought a mini Testaverde jersey, when I was 14 years old because we went to Dallas, stopped Jay Novacek on the 6-inch line. Eric Bad Bone Turner stopped him, went out that night to the mall when malls were actually relevant and got me a Vinny Testaverde jersey.
Wow.
That's what being a Browns fan's all about. We buy merchandise and that, even with the Ohio State thing. Can I say one thing about Browns Twitter I've seen lately? For years and years and years, we suck. And, but there was solidarity between Browns Twitter. We get good, and all of a sudden we start hating on each other.
We hate each other. Yes.
Baker Mayfield is at a baseball game with his friend because they're newlyweds, and we're mad he's wearing a San Diego Padres jersey.
He's not a Clevelander, Ed. Not a true Clevelander.
You know what? Honestly, guys, when it comes down to it, his birth certificate doesn't say Cleveland, Ohio, and it never will. As long as he does good, wins us a Super Bowl in Cleveland, what more do you people want from him?
Yeah.
I mean,
LeBron was a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
Right. And, people that were banging on LeBron. Now, I do say one thing about LeBron. I think that, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do to actually go to, Jacobs Field at the time and wear that hat. But Baker's not coming to Cleveland wearing a Red Sox hat, even a Padres hat. I mean, he's there in San Diego, probably being, treated by the San Diego Padres organization. So I don't know. I mean, I guess, we have first world problems now. We're talking about which players to get rid of now, salary cap issues. These are things. Before, we didn't even have enough good players. Now we're arguing about whether to pay Wyatt Teller, Denzel Ward, or Nick Chubb. I'll take that problem any day. We're fighting about Baker winning a San Diego Padres jersey, but we actually have a franchise quarterback. I'll take that problem any day. I mean, all these problems that we're having. But I will say one thing: it's like having the best fans, and even with Ohio State, and now they're coming after Ohio State, which every fan base is annoying to some degree. Okay,
especially if they're beating your team.
Exactly. And if we're all winning on Sundays and going to where I think we're going to be, and we're going to be super this year, I don't think arguing about what we're doing June, even with the OTAs and things. I mean, I get it to a certain point. It's a talking point and things like that. But the vitriol and the hatred that's being spewed towards each other, at the end of the day, we're all Browns fans. We all root for the Browns to win. Yeah. So I think if we could knock that off a little bit, disagreements are one thing. And I don't mind jokes and stuff like that. But when it gets a little personal, come on, guys, like Rodney King, can we all just get along?
Ed, I came packed with questions for you, but man, you brought the energy.
I don't have to ask any questions. He's out here spitting facts and preaching the gospel. I do have one question though.
Yes.
What is the strangest place you've ever peed?
Honestly, okay. So here's the thing about that. Okay. Now we've all seen the municipal stadium troughs back in the day, the old Cleveland Stadium.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say that place because I remember being 9 years old, going to my first Indians game against the Yankees, April 23rd, 1989. I'll tell you guys one thing too. Getting old, your long-term memory, you'll remember everything. Ask me what I did last week. I don't know. Show me a TMZ footage of me, doing something bad. It could be true.
That's not me.
I don't remember. But I remember 1989. I don't remember last week or even what I ate for breakfast today. So that's one thing that goes. So I would say the strangest place would have to be that trough because, I stage fright to this day. I mean, I'm scarred to this day. It made me become a man earlier than what I thought I needed to be. I remember one time.
Yeah, those things.
I remember going to a Browns game one time. They were playing the Steelers. There's this Steelers guy. He was so drunk, they threw him in the troughs. Okay. Now, like, I don't know. I mean, you talk about golden showers. He got a golden bath. Okay. He got blessed. He got blessed in Cleveland Municipal Stadium. So I don't know. I mean,
really?
So that's where I'm at with that question, Jacob. Fair question.
Ed, you are one of a kind.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It
is. No, I love it, man. You came fancy. You brought energy, man. I was going to ask you about Baker and the San Diego Padres, dude. You went right through it.
He knew.
And one of the reasons
that is a one-man wrecking crew. And
one of the reasons why I didn't know you from Adam. When but I saw you guys, and I love up and comers because I don't get on Twitter to get fame. I will say one thing. I do appreciate the retweets and stuff because, when I put stuff out there, it's either to educate or to be funny or because look, we have reporters. We have people in the media that's going to say who's injured or not. So I don't need to regurgitate, what's going on.
Exactly.
So when it comes to like you guys, for instance, like there's so much stuff from the Browns from like the lost years, as I call even the Belichick days, like when he made that peanut butter sandwich and put it on both sides of the bread, people, because then it doesn't leak. You know, things like that from my Browns days when social media wasn't big, people don't know about now. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I love the fact that you guys are so enthusiastic about, you know, wanting to gain that knowledge and stuff, because, you know, one thing about the Browns is
fun.
we're going to go super places that we've never been before. So it's going to be fun to talk about the past and say, yeah, we did have the greatest coach of all time. His name wasn't Bill Belichick. It was Paul Brown. It was, you know, there's different things about the organization that's so great. I mean, there's things about even like Art Modell, like, you know, the fact that like Trump was in with him after the, you know, the Bills game. Like, I didn't even know that until somebody showed me that. Like, you know, I'm not getting political here, but things like that, that's history. I you know, Ronald Reagan used to come to the Browns training camp, and they got pictures of Bernie Kosar playing catch with Ronald Reagan. Like, that's cool. Like, you know, I love history. I'm a fan of history, and I'm a fan of you guys. I think you guys are making history, and the Browns are going to make history this year, and that's why I'm down with you guys.
Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, Ed.
No doubt.
We will have you back.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
It's called the Barking Brown Show. Can we get some barking together?
That's right, Ed.
Yes.
I love you, Ed.
I owe that to her. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye, Ed.
We'll talk to you soon, buddy. He's electric, man. Ed is absolutely 100% electric.
Wow.
Give him a little bit of a random pause. Even like that was the easiest segment I've ever recorded. I didn't have to do it. Like, it was phenomenal, man.
Dude,
he did. He brought in relevant stories. I will point out, I do Browns obscure fact, Browns History Fridays is what I've started doing, and I'm tweeting out like some obscure things that I read about in Browns history on Fridays. And Ed's helped me with that, and I love history. Like he said, it's fun. It's fun to go on Not the Same Browns podcast with Andy Lytle and talk about the terrible coaches we've had since '99. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, so the next guy we're going to get on here, I wanted to give him a different title, but I thought he might beat me up. So I was going to put we'll put it on here. I just put him as our friend Roger. However, I was going to put him as grumpy old bastard Roger, but I thought he might hunt me down and kick my ass if I did that. So he's laughing a little bit. No, he looks like he's going to whoop my ass. All right, we're going to bring him on. Roger, how we doing, buddy?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Jacob, good. I wouldn't beat you up. I know people that might come and take. Personally, wouldn't beat you up. You know, guys, this is a pleasure coming. When you asked me, I was a little, and I mean, today I recorded my phone, played it through my car, said, "Holy shit, I sound like Adam the Bull," you know, when my voice on the radio. My wife's like, "You're up, talk loud," but it's my pleasure to be here.
We're glad to have you
on Twitter. Nick and I met. You know, we started talking about. We went around, and he's such a gentleman. Pushes buttons, and he's just like, well, you know, you guys are, you know, two of my favorite guys on Twitter, and I appreciate it. You got Ed in a tie. I feel spitting fire. I'm like, what? I'm in the. It's great, and this is the Andy. He does what 3.7, like 0.3 of this point.
Roger, you might need to move your phone just a little bit closer to you because you are breaking in and out just a little bit.
But
how's this? Is this good? Yeah. You know what? You're frozen. Yeah. Your head's been frozen there for like 5 minutes on the screen.
Jacob's moving for me. I don't know. You know what? We're a show of technical difficulties, and that's okay.
Yeah. I can hear him. Yeah. But is the pitch is frozen?
Yeah.
Is there for a minute?
There was one time when we were recording that I'm sorry, buddy. Nick was literally froze on my screen for 25 minutes. I was moving. Andy Lytle was moving. Wow. He was moving. If you go back and watch the episode, Nick moved just fine. But like on my screen, it was so weird because he was making like a face like that. And it was so weird because he didn't move for a half hour, and it kind of frightened me.
That's like Jacob. His like mouth is kind of crooked. So, been a Browns fan for a lot. There you go. You pop. You're animated.
Here we are.
I ran home. My mom wouldn't let me go to Red Right 88, and I had an extra ticket. And I'm standing there. I'm 11 years old, and he's asked me. He goes, "Do you want to?" And his wife, my aunt's like, "You don't say that in front of." So my mom wouldn't let me go a fit. I ran away to my grandmother's house. A game on TV. So, and I didn't get in trouble because they lost. I was already crying, so there was trouble. But I was at the rally on Public Square or the drive. I hate saying the drive. You know what I mean? Because it's like a negative connotation. I hate saying the drive, but I was there. It's a blizzard, and a stage. They got bands. Been down to the Stouffer Hotel, drinking whiskey with a hobo, street vagrant, and we're drinking whiskey with this guy, and the turnstile doors to stay open, stay warm. Through it all, I watched them tear. Watched them build a new one. It's not a hobby. Time, it's an idea. It's a way of life for us here in Cleveland. And all people in England and all. Twitter's the greatest thing ever. Twitter.
Yeah.
I said I'm talking sports. But she knows it's like, my outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't go to bars. I come home to my family and I take care of my boys and my wife and my daughter and my family. Whole new world. At work, I try to talk sports. 3-4 minutes, and they had enough. 8 hours. We're doing that with some fucking pipe in the wall, but you guys have just opened it up for me, and I'm gonna sit back. Ask me some Browns, man. Hey. I'm Italian.
Interesting enough, you talking about people internationally. I was looking at the analytics for the pod listens, not for the Twitter and the YouTube, because they don't really do the analytics like Anchor will do. We have listeners in Germany, the UK, and Canada, and I think there was one in Japan. I think I saw the other day. So
Really?
we're like, this is wild. It's like you said, Roger, like this is absolutely wild to me that we can get on here and we can have this conversation. We can sit here. I'm just drinking Kool-Aid out of my Nick Chubb glass from B-Dubs I got over here. And I just like drink Kool-Aid, drink beer, drink whiskey, whatever you want drinking. And we can talk across. And this keeps my wife from going crazy because she oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I want to say sorry to our friend Dan, who I was not looking at the chat, and he's been Extra Crispy Wings have been firing off some stuff over there. And he wants to know what the hell Red 88 is. That's what he wants to know. He's asking Roger Roger, what's it? What he doesn't know what Red 88 is. You gotta school him on
what
this.
Is what? I'm sorry. What is
Red 88?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I think we might have lost. Oh, no, you're here.
He said.
No, go ahead. Say it again. You cut out. He's frozen again, Nick. Jacob's frozen again. What did Extra Crispy ask?
He's asking what is Red 88. I think Dan's.
I said Red Right 88. The game against Oakland.
Yeah. No,
my uncle had tickets to the game against the Raiders for the Red Right 88. Extra Crispy's asking, what is Red Right 88? He's my age, I think. He's close.
I'm a little confused, honestly.
It's all right, guys.
Last night, he don't even remember half the conversation in the chat. He woke up this morning. He's like, what?
He goes, what did we talk about last night?
Red Right 88. Yeah.
Same thing we talked about last night.
It was a football game. Extra Crispy, it was a football game. It was a play in a football game that San Ritigliano shouldn't have called, is what it was. He should have kicked the damn field goal, is what he should have done. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda beens in Cleveland Browns history, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because today, and this year, and I've seen a lot of great Browns moments. I've seen a lot of bad Browns moments. But I don't believe I've ever seen what we're about to see. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry and John DePodesta, who I love DePodesta. I've been a fan since they hired him with Sashi, but I don't think any of us that are alive, unless you saw Jim Brown and watched it, saw that. You got to be 105. But I don't think any of us have seen what we're about to see. And what I believe is going to happen is it's going to be sustainable, and it's not going to fall apart. You remember Jacksonville the 1 year AFC Championship? Yeah. They were like 5-11 the next freaking year. Yeah. This is going to be sustainable. Andrew Berry knows what he's doing. Who am I to question Andrew Berry does or Kevin Stefanski?
I agree.
Who they take, who they don't, who they sign, who they don't sign. We're talking about extensions with Baker and Teller and Chubb. I'm a plumber. Andrew Berry knows what he's doing. I firmly believe that. And Kevin Stefanski knows what he's doing. That's why I have all the faith in the world in Joe Woods. Because Kevin Stefanski sits down and says, man, it's going to be hard to game plan against this defense. And he's an offensive genius. If Kevin Stefanski believes in Joe Woods, I believe in Joe Woods.
I like that.
If he believes in the players that Andrew Berry brings in, I believe in those players. Whether he keeps them or lets them go or what happened. Look at Richardson. A great player. He played a huge role for us last year. But we got some young talent, lined up at defense tackle. I think we're going to see a defense that just blows us away. By week 5, week 6, they're going to be hitting on all cylinders. Lamar Jackson's not going to roll out and throw that duck 30 yards across the other side of the field. It's wobbling through the air. And Sanjao is 15 steps behind it, JJ3 is going to be making a play on that football. I'm pumped. I can't wait for football.
Side note.
Go ahead, guys. I told you got to tell me, just say zip it. Just tell me to shut up.
No, it's fine. Side note from Nick: the Cleveland Cavaliers have the 3rd overall pick in the NBA.
Well, we're gonna have to go get a beer. Right. That is wonderful news. So excuse me while I get a beer.
He's gonna go get a beer.
Nick, go get a beer. He is a handsome fella too, by the way. He's a better looker than his picture on the. They called that.
Cheers to that, my
You were
friends.
talking about the. There he is. Yeah, what a looker he is. You guys are talking about Hudson, the kid that played at Michigan and went to Cincinnati, and I really believe that Luke Fickell's got an excellent program there. If we had this past year, if there were 8 or 12 teams, Cincinnati's right in the hunt, and they got a shot to play in those games in the playoffs. But the thing about anybody we bring in on the offensive line, who is the guy Blake? A guy named Blake. We got Callahan. Yeah. Look at Teller. Teller sat the bench all year the year before, and he played the last 2 games in Kitchen's regime. He comes out after half of a training camp and whatever was going on last year, and he's a mauler. He's a beast. I believe in Callahan. You give him an offensive lineman, or if he looks on tape and says, let's draft this guy, I think I can make this work. Well, I'm in on Hudson. I'm in on the entire thing, and it starts with Andrew Berry. It starts with Andrew Berry. I believe in him. Yeah. I've never believed in a GM, not Holmgren, not Dorsey. I've never believed in any of these guys. Lombardi, none of them.
Lombardi, don't get me started on Lombardi.
Lombardi, my wife would watch me, and I'd lay on the couch, sit on the couch, and I'd be eight Edmund Fitzgerald's in, slumping and miserable, and she's like, how can you watch this, And last year, she's walking through the living room and Tennessee game's on. And she looked at the score, and she looked at me, and she sits down and starts watching, And
yes,
but she felt sorry for me, because we sat through that shit. It's a different day, man. It's a new day. and I'm excited. And like what did Landry say? Let's talk Super Bowl. Why not? You know, why not?
Yeah.
Why not
Why
us? You know, it's our time.
In that vein, Roger, because for those who don't know, Roger and I go back and forth. We have differing opinions on Odell Beckham, and that's totally fine because we're both respectful when we have discussions on it. You know, unlike how some conversations can get. But in that vein, I want to ask you, at the end of 2021, who is the Browns' best receiver? After it's all said and done, who's the Browns' best receiver?
I'm gonna say that if he stays healthy, that'll be Odell Beckham Jr. Okay.
Wow.
I think that his numbers will not be where a lot of people predict them to be, and I think that's system based. I think he's gonna listen. If he gets 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he's happy about it, I'm happy about it. You know,
I like that.
If he's not. You know what I mean? If I think if the Browns are winning, Odell will be happy to turn in those numbers. And I just the only thing I have to go off is Diggs' numbers in Minnesota in this system. Because look what he did in Buffalo in a wide receiver centric system. You know, because he was the number one target and he was the guy that they went to. Well, Baker Mayfield's a distributor, and I think it'll be Odell Beckham Jr. If he's healthy. He could turn in and be the best receiver to Cleveland Browns, and he can be that deep threat. I think the guy right behind him is going to be DPJ. I watched his entire career. I watched his entire career miserably as a Michigan fan. Don't kill me on Twitter. I've been a Michigan fan for 40 years, and it's just the way it is. But I watched this kid, and he has all the potential in the air. All the potential in the world. He can be a wide receiver 1. You know, he'll definitely be our wide receiver 2 going into the next season. I don't know what Andrew Berry's going to do. $30 million is a lot for 2 aging veteran wide receivers that are potential probably Pro Bowlers this year. You know, when you got to pay other people. So, like I said, whatever Andrew Berry does, I trust him. But Odell Beckham Jr., with his talent, you know, with his track record, if he can stay healthy, if he can be a team guy, which I think he learned a little lesson last year that, hey, those guys can win without me. You know, I want to be a part of that. I really believe he wants to win. And if he stays, he's hungry, he wants to win, and he knows that he's on the other side of, you know, he's not a kid no more. And I think he wants championship. And I think he knows this is his best chance at a championship. So if he goes out there and does his job, he can absolutely be our best wide receiver at the end of the year.
I love it.
I'm done. I'm not going to bash him. I never bashed him. Go ahead, guys.
Sorry. No, you're right. I was just going to say we're getting pressed on time. We're going to have to go on to the next guest just a little bit. Roger. I do. I talk to you every day. I do. I talk to you every day. We're totally different.
Don't tell my boss every day, though.
But Roger, we thank you so much for coming on here, spitting some knowledge, having some good times with us. We'll talk to you soon, okay, buddy?
It means a lot to us that you came, Roger. Thank you.
Hey, wait, one more thing. Thank you. It only takes 2 chickens to kill an elephant. One to leave the gun and one to take the cannoli. Go Browns!
There it is.
Go Browns!
He's right. 100% right on that. It's only taking 2. All right. So we're going to roll right into our last guest. I'm going to go ahead and put his thing right here on the screen. He is a legend. He is sexy.
Wow.
So we're going to bring in a guy that was on the herd. He got called a mouth breather, for the record, on the herd when his tweet was read on the herd by Colin Cowherd, which is fantastic. But we're going to bring in our friend, the very sexy Colin. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Hey, Colin, thanks for your patience.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, being the last, you gotta save the best for last. But the previous guys, they set the bar pretty high.
I mean, you can't bring in, nobody can bring the energy like Ed. He says his tie is off. He's kicking back. What a night we barked together. He says that's on the side note for that from Ed.
Ed's energy is just unmatchable. Andy is my hero.
Yeah,
he was on screen for like 12 minutes and he just pounded 8 beers like a monster. It was amazing.
I know.
Just was like,
I loved every second of it.
I was like, I'm gonna start this off with a question because I really need to know this. What would be the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse? Like if you're gonna make like it's a small animal and now we're gonna make it the size of a horse.
I have to say a tadpole.
A tadpole?
Whoa! A tadpole-sized horse? Or a horse-sized?
It's off the rocks,
Okay.
What we'll go with like make a mouse the size of a horse. Well, let's go with the tadpole.
I love it. That's great.
I have no issue with that. Now, I want to ask you something I asked Andy because we ended up not going around to these questions quite as much. I didn't know where this episode was going to go. I think it's been fantastic. I've had such a good time. I want to know, man, like, where do you sit with Baker? Are you as enraged about the Mark Sanchez Baker Mayfield comparison that Mike Tanner? Like, I get it. It's June 22nd, and we're just grasping desperately at straws at this point. Yeah. But where do you sit with like people literally comparing him to Mark Sanchez?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know that was a thing. So when I heard you,
it was today on Get Up.
That was news to me.
Yikes!
But that's the story. As long as Baker goes, he's 10 times better than Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
It's like if you go back and you watch, especially against the Kansas City games where his receivers were just pressed, where they were all manned up and they were these tight windows. Like, show me 20 throws that Mark Sanchez can make that Baker can't. Like, you know what I mean? Like that for me is the comparison to how is somebody better than me is you show me something he can do that I can't. Yeah. And I don't know that there's a throw Mark Sanchez can make that Baker doesn't make better.
Yeah, I was worried after Kansas City marched down, scored a touchdown, and then we punted right after. I thought it was going to be, a style Kansas City 50-0 win, whatever. I was very impressed with the way they went into halftime and made adjustments, and Baker.
Oh, we're losing him.
Yeah, we are losing him.
Bad connection. It's probably my internet again.
Yeah. This is not our first technical difficulty. It won't be our last. That's okay.
It's all right. Ed weighs in until we can get him back on. Until we can get Colin back on here. Ed weighs in and he says, "When that tadpole becomes a frog, the world better watch out."
God,
an enormous frog. An enormous frog. Extra Crispy Wings says I'm fishing over here. I'm just bringing up what Mike Tannenbaum said about Mark Sanchez. All right, we got Colin back. Okay, I can see him moving again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my phone and I'm in like a dead spot, so I can go in and out.
Gotcha. Well, we have you now, so that's what matters, right?
That's right.
Well, we're trying. Yeah.
No, he's on there.
Yeah. What was the last thing that I said?
You talked about the adjustments that Baker made at halftime. In the KC game.
I think he went in and he made the adjustments he was supposed to make. His time, as much time as that offensive line gave him, which was just the perfect amount. And the one play I keep going to is the helmet-to-helmet hit at the end of the first half. I thought for sure.
Yeah.
Hats off to the defense for once, holding them to a field goal.
That play to me, the fact that Kansas City's official Twitter account tweeted that out about how Dirty Dan, like called him Dirty Dan, which like I get it. It's like a nickname and they didn't mean it in the way that like that we took it, but they called him Dirty Dan. He loves hard hits or something like that. They tweet this out. They leave that illegal hit up there and they left that tweet out there, much like the Baltimore Ravens did with that duck that Lamar threw. And I'm like,
Sammy Watkins didn't have a clear catch either.
Yeah.
He caught it. He had to catch it with his arm. Like he caught it on his forearm, guys. Like I understand that you wanted to show the Sammy Watkins, Lamar Jackson connection, right? Because you're trying to build that as this big thing that's going to take them to the next level, which like if Sammy's healthy, maybe. But like if that's the only throw he made to him all day, you just don't do that tweet today. You wait till tomorrow. You wait till he makes it. Because I've seen plenty of throws Lamar has made that have been good throws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's the most accurate guy or anything like that, but I've seen him make a hell of a lot better throws than the one that you decided to use.
He probably threw a ton of more passes. Like, why did you have to go with that one?
You know what? And one of the Ravens reporters came out and said that they're trying to conceal the scheme. She actually responded. So I was tagged in it, and I responded to it, and she said, that they do this every year. They're just trying to conceal the scheme. So, and not to discredit any of that, right? Because like I understand, but have you concealed all of Baltimore's throws in previous years? I can never remember reading that they're not showing Joe Flacco's throws.
This is 7-on-7. You're not doing any schemed shit.
Yeah.
If you guys remember a few years ago, we first got like their first practice or whatever, and I should just get crucified through that. Not duck per se, it was a really wobbly pass, and he got railed for it and said, my never. Come on. If it was Baker, he'd just get 10 times worse.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where I talked about it this past season where we moved the goalposts back on Baker. Anything Baker does, you say, well, do it again. Or you know what I mean? Like something along those lines where it's like, oh, well, be more consistent. Do it. Like with Lamar, it's like, don't get me wrong. Lamar's MVP season was electric. Yeah. I thought a lot of he got lucky on a lot of those throws because of his threat to run, his ability to just throw things up and guys to get him, because his guys had separation, because a lot of those guys were not sure if they wanted to go deep downfield because Lamar. But like, if Lamar does anything, like he looked terrible against Buffalo. Like it was not a good game.
3 points in the playoff game.
And then everybody goes, MVP. And it's like, wait. Baker, and I get it. Henny was out there. But Baker had them a drive away. If he had gotten some freaking help in that game, if Nick Chubb doesn't drop 2 screen passes, like Baker almost has you in the AFC Championship. You scored 3 points, but Baker needs to show more in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it.
It wasn't Baker.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm just saying. You know what? The Lamar had a chance to bring the Ravens back into that game, and it was not Baker who threw a crippling interception in the end zone to end his team's playoff hopes. I'm just saying.
I mean, Baker did have a 3 and out. Like, I'm not going to act like he had a perfect game, but like,
but he didn't lose. Like when Lamar throws that interception, the game is over.
The game's over. Right? Yeah.
So yes, I get it. Going 3 and out is bad, right? But you still give your defense a chance. I mean, the defense put them in 3rd and 14, right? You need to stop them in 3rd and 14 and get the ball back for your offense. I mean, conversely, right? Buffalo wins. The game is immediately over. So, I know Baker failed in that clutch moment. I understand that, but he did not kill his team like Lamar did.
All right, Colin, we're about out of time here for tonight, man. We've had a little bit of connectivity issues. Give me your. I don't want to say I don't want to put you on the spot and say give me a hot take, but give me a take. It can be a hot take, or it could be a prediction, like maybe what Chubb rushes, whatever kind of take or stat you are you're I'm going to put the money down that this is going to happen this year.
Well, I already bet is winning MVP. So that's out there. So I bet $50.
Let's go.
Hopefully that wins. I think Beckham and Landry both top 1,000 yards, and then Hunt adds another 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. You know what? We got some offense cooking. There's no doubt about that. The only team in the AFC that's returning the only team in the AFC that's returning the entire offense is the Browns. And nobody really mentions that, but that is hugely important. Because we saw. I mean, you could argue that the Browns had one of the best offenses in the NFL, and they had the least time to prepare and acclimate to a new system.
Yep.
Not to mention that one playoff came with a week of no practice without their head coach. So I mean, I don't know.
Never happened before. I love it. Dude, Colin, you brought it with you today.
All right, Colin, we appreciate it. We're gonna sign off here real quick. Hey, man, you did great. The phone situation is what it is, man. But we will talk to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, one of our great contributors, the Colin Cowherd. We thank you for all you do, Colin.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It was great to meet you guys.
You too, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon. All right, man. All right, I want to say one more thing before we get off here.
I got time.
Yesterday, Carl Nassib took the opportunity to jump to Instagram and come out as the first active player to come out as gay. And I wanted to say hats off to him. Nobody has ever done it. Nobody has ever had the confidence and the bravery whilst playing. I know there's a situation with Michael Sam who was openly gay as he was coming into the league, but then didn't make any roster.
Yeah.
So I just want to say my headphones are going dead and they're beeping in my ear. I just wanted to say, I love Carl. I do. I loved him on Hard Knocks. Seems like a great dude. Kudos to you. Kudos to you for donating $100,000. Kudos to the NFL for matching it for the Trevor Project. Carl Nassib's jersey was the most sold jersey yesterday and today so far in the league. Good for Carl Nassib. He's an ally, right? To anybody out there as a member of the LGBT community that feels discriminated against because of who you are as a person, understand that you have an ally in myself. You should never, ever, ever, and Nick, and I know you know, I just want to, you never have to be ashamed of who you are or, quote unquote, what you are. I mean, unless you're a piece of shit, then you should be ashamed of that. But I just wanted to take that opportunity to say that.
You know what? I was listening to Ken Carman and Anthony Lima this morning, and they said something that made me think. They were talking about this, and they said, now it's like Carl. So Carl posts this video and comes out, and now moving forward, because he is the only actively out player, he's like the spokesperson for this, right? And so I didn't think about that. He
took on a big role, basically.
It's a massive role, a massive burden too. He's blazing his own trail at this point. Somewhere that people haven't gone before. So that is not going to be easy for him. I mean, this couldn't have been easy to admit in the first place, but I think it was Ken who said, you can't just say this and then just go back to
just kidding.
anonymity and just like Carl Nassib just having his regular old NFL career, like that's not going to happen. So this is definitely something that every day now, is going to be something that he is carrying. And so for him to do that shows a lot of courage. Hats off to him. That's all that I thought that was really insightful by them. And I have all the more respect for him because moving forward, that's something, he'll continue to have to, and not to be really brief. I wish Emmanuel Ogbah and Carl Nassib, who had no business not being Browns, were still Browns because they were both contributors and
they were both far better than Chad Thomas.
I'm just saying. John Dorsey, not a great look, but not a great look.
Terrible move.
But so I didn't know where this episode was going to go. Yeah. Wow.
Off the wall.
We had a lot of beer, drank. We had a lot of people talking. I really love this. This is different, and I'm really, what, Jacob, this was your idea. This was your baby. Credit to you, my friend. I think this was great. And so to anybody who is listening, thank you for being here. I saw we had comments from YouTube. Jacob mentioned the international listeners. Thank you all for being here. If you would help us out, whether you're listening on YouTube or podcast, a 5-star review would be wonderful. A subscription, and we are doing another t-shirt giveaway for anybody who's listening. So once we hit that 225, like Jacob said, we will be giving away another t-shirt because this is a show by fans and it's for fans, and we want to give back to you. So thank you to everyone who's been here. We appreciate all your support. That's all I got for you.
Hey, man, it's been the Trent Dilford episode, right?
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. And
all right, Nick, take us away, man.
As always, I'm Nick. He's Jacob. This has been episode 8, 2 months already. Thank you all for being here. Wow, what an episode. Go Browns.
Go Browns.